you are doing good. So from this video, I'm going to talk about states of consciousness. So including this video, I have spoken about 9 different topics. So these 9 different topics will help you all to understand about psychology and what are we going to talk about in future. So let's get started. So from this topic, we are going to talk about sleeping and dreaming. Before talking about beginning of the sleep, first we'll talk about sleepiness. Sleepiness can be thought of as a drive. A sleepy person is motivated to go to sleep and will expend some effort to reach a safe, comfortable place to do so. Achieving this goal and drifting off to sleep provides a sense of pleasure, analogs to that which comes from eating when we are hungry. But sleep is more than the end state of a drive. It is an altered state of consciousness in which the brain for a time gives up some of its function and leaving the person in a condition of reduced activity and responsiveness to the environment. So most of us spend about a third of our lives in this behavioral state. So now let's talk about the beginning of the sleep. So during the earliest phases of sleep, you are still relatively awake and alert. So at this time, the brain produces beta waves, which means waves which are of frequency about 13 to 15 Hz per second. So these beta waves seen in EEG, which means electroencephalography, while person is awake, alert, and when eyes are open. And then after producing beta waves, the brain begins to relax and slow down, and at this time, brain produces slower waves known as alpha waves. So alpha waves is about 80 about 8 to 12 Hz per second. So while falling to sleep and while eyes are closed, and also seen when eyes are closed and meditating. And then at this time, person experiences a hypnagogic hallucination and myoclonic jerk. So hypnagogic hallucinations means the feeling like you're falling or hearing someone calling you. And myoclonic jerk means a strong and a sudden, also a brief contractions of the body that occur just as you're falling asleep. Moving on, sleep cycle. So it has 5 stages. We'll talk about the 5 stages separately. So a complete sleep cycle takes an average of 90 to 110 minutes. So the first sleep cycle each night have relatively short REM sleep. We'll talk about REM sleep and long periods of deep sleep, but later in the night REM periods lengthen and deep sleep time decreases. So slow wave sleep comes mostly in the first half of the night, REM in the second half of the night. So infants spend almost 50 of their time in REM sleep and older adults spend progressively less time in REM sleep. There are generally 4 to 5 sleep cycles during the night and each lasts from 90 to 120 minutes. So when we get older, slow wave sleep decreases and lighter stage 1 sleep increases. So now we'll talk about the stages of sleep. First we have stage 1 sleep. This is a state of transition between wakefulness and sleep, characterized by relatively rapid, low amplitude brain waves. So when you are awake, the EEG shows like this, as in the picture, and stage 1, the EEG shows like this. And then we have stage 2 sleep, a sleep deeper than that of stage 1, characterized by a slower, more regular wave pattern along with momentary interruptions of sleep spindles. So sleep spindles are shown in this picture. We have stage 3 sleep, a sleep characterized by slow brain waves with greater peaks and valleys in the wave pattern than in stage 2 sleep. So you can see greater peaks and valleys in this picture. And then we have stage 4 sleep, the deepest stage of sleep, during which we are least responsive to outside stimulation. And then we have REM sleep, sleep occupying 20% of an adult's sleeping time, characterized by increased heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing rate, erections, eye movements, and the experience of dreaming. So, we'll again try to understand a better side of these stages. So, stage 1 is a brief transition stage when the person is first falling asleep, and stage 2 through stage 4 are successively deeper stages of true sleep. As sleep deepens, an increased percentage of the EEG is devoted to slow, irregular, high amplitude waves called delta waves. So these waves, like others, are controlled by neurons in the thalamus that respond in an oscillating manner and synchronize the activity of billions of neurons in the cerebral cortex. So corresponding to this EEG change, muscle tension, heart rate, and breathing rate decline, and the person becomes increasingly hard to wake. And then, having reached stage 4, a person does not remain there for the rest of the night. Instead, after about 80 to 100 minutes of total sleep time, sleep rapidly lightens, returning through stage 3 and 2, and then a new, quite fascinating stage of sleep appears for a period of about 10 minutes or more. So, on the basis of the EEG alone, one might think that the person had awakened, but direct observation shows that the person is sound asleep, and the record of muscle tension shows that the muscles are more relaxed than at any other sleeping stage. Yet, consistent with the unsynchronized EEG, other indices of high arousal are apparent. Breathing and the heart rate become more rapid and less regular. Penile erection occurs in males, even in infants and young boys. Twitching movements occur in the small muscles of the fingers and face, and most indicative of all, the eyes move rapidly back, forth, and up and down under the closed eyelids. So these eye movements, which can be recorded electrically along with the EEG, give this stage of sleep its name, REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. It is during REM sleep that most dreams occur. Moving on, sleep disorders. So we'll talk about these sleep disorders in detail. First, we'll see what are these sleep disorders. First, we have parasomnia, obstructive sleep apnea, insomnia, hypersomnia, narcolepsy, somnambulism, somnolence, bedwetting, bruxism, periodic limb movement disorder. First, we'll talk about parasomnias. So, parasomnias are disruptive sleep disorders that can occur during arousal from REM sleep. Parasomnias include nightmares, night terrors, and confessional arousal. And then we have obstructive sleep apnea. Obstructive sleep apnea is a potentially serious sleep disorder. This type of apnea occurs when your throat muscles intermittently relax and block your airway during sleep. So, a noticeable sign of obstructive sleep apnea is snoring. And then we have insomnia, a sleep disorder in which you have trouble falling and or staying asleep. This condition can be short term, which means acute, or can last a long time, which means chronic, or it may also come and go. And then we have hypersomnia, which is a condition in which a person has trouble staying awake during the day. People who have hypersomnia can fall asleep at any time, for instance at work or while they are driving. And then we have narcolepsy, characterized by excessive sleepiness, sleep paralysis, hallucinations, and in some cases, episodes of cataplexy. Cataplexy means a partial or total loss of muscle control, often triggered by a strong emotion such as laughter. Next, we have somnambulism, which means an arousal parasomnia consisting of a series of complex behaviors that result in large movements in bed or walking during sleep. So most frequent in children, it is usually a benign, self-limited maturational occurrence. Then we have somnolitude, consists of verbal vocalization during sleep, ranging from mumbled nonsense to coherent sentences, but without awareness of the event. So these utterances may be brief, infrequent, and devoid of any emotional stress, or they may be include long speeches. And then bedwetting. This is an involuntary urination while asleep after the age at which staying dry at night can be reasonably expected. So bedwetting isn't a sign of toilet training gone bad. It's often just a normal part of a child's development. And then we have bruxism, a condition in which you grind, gnash, or clench your teeth. If you have bruxism, you may unconsciously clench your teeth when you're awake, which means awake bruxism, or clench or grind them during sleep, which means sleep bruxism. And then periodic limb movement disorder. This is repetitive cramping or jerking of the legs during sleep. It is the only movement disorder that occurs only during sleep. Next, we have dream analysis. So before talking about dream analysis, first we'll talk about dreams. Dreams have always been a mystery to people. In sleep, one travels to distant places, speaks with friends long dead, and performs impossible feats as if they were commonplace. So people at various times and places have believed that dreams foretell the future or are instructions from the spiritual world. Others, most notably Sigmund Freud, less mystically inclined, have held that dreams express hidden wishes and can be used to unlock the secrets of their unconscious mind. But today our knowledge of dreams has been advanced by studies in sleep laboratories where sleep stages are monitored physiologically and people are periodically awakened and asked to report what was on their mind just before awakening. So now let's contrast true dreams with sleep thought. So when people are awakened during REM sleep, they usually, in about 90% of the cases, report a mental experience that researchers call a true dream. A true dream is experienced as if it were a real event rather than something merely imagined or thought about. So the dreamer has the feeling of actually seeing or in other ways sensing various objects and people and of actually moving and behaving in the dream environment. Moreover, the true dream usually involves a progression of such experiences woven into a somewhat coherent thought, often bizarre story. The more time the sleep spent in REM sleep before awakening, the longer and more elaborate is the reported dream. So studies show that essentially everyone dreams several times a night. People who believe that they rarely dream or who can recall only fragments of dreams upon normal awakening In the morning, describe vivid, detailed dreams if awakened during REM period. So dreams are fleeting experiences, quickly lost from memory unless we catch them and think about them immediately upon awakening. So people who are awakened during slow wave sleep report some sort of mental activity just before awakening, roughly half the time. Such reports are usually not of true dreams, but of sleep thought, which lacks the vivid sensory and motor hallucinations of a true dream. Often the subject of sleep thought is some problem that had been of concern during the day. For example, a student who had been cramming for a math exam might report working on a calculus problem while sleeping. So a major difference between sleep thought and daytime thought is that the former is usually ineffective, although the sleeper may feel that he or she is solving a calculus problem. Questions upon awakening indicate that no real progress was made. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. And if you need any help regarding notes and more facts, please do contact me via cascade.psychology@gmail.com. Watch my next video on motivation.